The go live button.
This meeting is being live streamed. Let me get my notes. I don't even have notes. Can you? I don't know, Cliff. That I didn't know how to figure out how to question the Charlotte one. I was like, how do I put that in there?
I don't know. I would say, does she have an attitude? What do you guys think?
Because coming out like it didn't. That's like that. They keep talking about it. I was like, okay, and then the whole MSK thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's wild. But yeah. Alrighty.
Turn on this game.
So, fun fact, it's all on you.
That was on me?
It's on you.
Oh, well, hello there, people who are watching this before I officially get started. You heard me all talking and see how unprepared I am for the show. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to get started now in the next 5 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boy, your nephew, your cousin. It's the Don. Yes, right. Charlemagne the Don. And you're listening or watching the 3 Count Podcast Debate Show. Let's go down my faction. Introducing first, he is the Red Dog of Red Dogs. He is your favorite mercenary. He is the man that runs this show because I don't do nothing but talk. He is the landlord of the dog pound. He is the Red Dog. Ruff, ruff, ruff. He's got his own movie coming out soon.
I do. You can only find it on OnlyFans. Hashtag unprepared. It's what it's called. And then, fun facts. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but if you have a masturbation addiction, you either beat it or you beat it. I'm getting hands on. Someone could be so pissed about that.
Oh my God. And introducing last but certainly not the least, he's the heater of this faction. He is the drip master himself. He's my little brother. That's the only merit that brings him on to this show. I promise you, he only watched SmackDown this week. Ladies and gentlemen, my little brother, Josh.
First of all, why'd you have to expose me? And second of all, drip driving, got the club vibing, thanking the sidewalks for keeping me off the streets. Chitty, chitty, banging, study every day in.
That's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get through. First of all, welcome to another weekly edition of our debate show. Sorry that you missed me. You probably didn't miss me last week, but I heard last week's show was epic and was fun as always. So shout out to Cliff for keeping the thing going while pretty much all your boys were booked. So yeah, let's get through some intro and some announcements. If you have not done so already, please like this video on YouTube. Make sure you comment on it. I don't care if you say hi kittens. Comment on it. It helps the algorithm and gets people to this video. Also, subscribe and hit the bell button after you subscribe, because you can get notifications every time we post a new video. And we got a lot of content because we got a whole nother show on the other side of our studio. And who's going to tell you about that other show and the other side of the studio? Well, that's your boy, the Red Dog. I'm going to tell you about our show called Now Entering the Ring.
Yo, yeah. So we have some great guests this week. Phil McNair will be making his debut. If
that's my best friend.
Yep, it's
That's
Chaz's
my
best
buddy.
friend.
I've known him since he was like 5 and fat.
So we got him. He's gonna be on the show. We'll be talking about music and theme songs and how it like helps motivate a crowd, motivate a wrestler, motivate just everything that's going on around you. And then on Thursday, we've got everybody's favorite pirate manager, Captain Decapitate.
Cap. You know what's funny? When I first met him, I thought he was weird and creepy. And now that I see him at all the shows that I'm booked on, he's an awesome guy.
Confirms your opinion that he's weird and creepy.
It does not confirm that. He's actually a cool person. But every time I tell him every time I see him that the next time that we meet, we have to share a drink of rum, but he never brings it. So I'm starting to get a little upset. It's been almost 2 years now. We're creeping up 2 years. But yeah, and I still have yet to drink with the captain. So
is that weird to think about? Is that really think about it? Is it really weird to think about that we're creeping up on 2 years? Like
in the business time,
yeah. In the sport, we've been in this for 2 years.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's coming up on 2 years. I think so. I guess for me, not really, because I guess the decade of yarding that I did.
Yeah.
But to think about getting, I guess when you look at it like the getting paid aspect of doing it, yes, but yeah, it's weird. It really is. It's really weird. It is. I really think about it. It's kind of weird, but
it is. I'm thinking about it too. I'm like, yo, I cannot believe that I've been in this now for over 2 years, or just at 2 years coming up. Like I was talking about it last night. Shout outs to SWF. I know you guys are probably familiar with what happened last time. Anyway, it's at their show, and they had a really fun show. We had a lot of great fun. But I was thinking about it. I was talking to another one of the workers, and I was like, yeah, I've been in the sport now for just at 20 months. And I was thinking, yo, that means that I will be having training in January for 2 years. I was like, I got to start a whole new show called Now Entering the Ring 201 to figure out what's the growth curve now from year 2 to year 5, because I'm like, bro, it was funny because I want to talk about it on the show because everybody gets to see this live, but we had a person who trains with us, right? And he's like, yeah, I love going to your podcast and listening to Now Entering the Ring because I get an insight of who these wrestlers are and I get to talk to them, and I kind of I knocked out my microphone. So he was like, he's like, I feel like I got kind of like an idea of who they are just by your show. And I was like, oh, bet. I was like, I created a show by accident, and now I realize it's a college course. And so I'm thinking about it now, it has been, we've had 180 episodes. 2 of them are in the can right now. They're getting ready to be dated and released, but we've had over 180 episodes. It's like, well, we've been doing this for 2 years now. And so what, now we're going to start doing Now Entering Ring 201, right? And we're going to talk about what's those next levels. What does the next step of being a pro wrestler look like? You know what I mean?
No facts. It's crazy to think how far Now in the Ring has come, to something that we like, oh, we need content just in case wrestling, shuts down because of the pandemic. And now, like you said, it's turned to a college course. Even I find myself, going back and listening to some of these episodes and just taking notes. Especially, I don't get to be on as many as I used to be, but I'm still, checking these interviews out and checking out the knowledge, because it's free knowledge. This is the knowledge you get out of wrestling school, or sometimes you don't get some of these things in your wrestling school, and it's a good resource that we have provided, so for wrestlers. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and to think like, man, I low like once they started realizing, and it's funny because the person who got me to think about it as it being like this, like, hey, like what would you do kind of situation was actually JJ. Like he had asked a question, he was just like, like what kind of advice would you give to upcoming me? Because I was being dumb. I was like, yo, like the first, I don't know, 40 episodes that we had, I was just like, hey, it's just cool to talk to you. And then like by like episode 45, I was like, yo, this legitimately is like a how-to kind of guide. I was like, we should treat this that way. And then like it's changed and evolved, and like you still get like that piece, the nuggets of truth kind of episodes. And like it's just weird to think that like we're gonna hit 200 episodes, and that once we hit those 200, like we're gonna continue with like now entering 101, because I definitely want to keep doing that. But yeah, you're gonna probably you'll probably see a new logo. I'm gonna be honest. Now entering will have like the little 101 on it, and then you'll start seeing now entering 201, and then we're gonna bring a lot of the guys back, and we're gonna ask them about what does year 2 through 5 gotta look like, because it's, I don't know, Chaz, I'm just gonna be amazed that a lot of guys, we know this, a lot of guys talk about how they want to become pro wrestlers. They want to get into the sport because they loved it as a fan. But then like so many of them have just quit. Like just quit. And just being at sickens, right? We see that all the time. Like week 2 that I started training back in 2020, there was like 45 people in the ring looking to train. And that's exaggeration. We'll put out there like 30 people, and that's about probably better about it. But the next week I showed up, there was like 6, and then I just watched it dwindle from the 6 to the 4 to me. and then you got involved, and then it was like, all right, I got someone else I can vibe with. And then like the pandemic came, and then like now we're starting to see like slowly, I'm starting to see like more and more students want to come and train. But it's like, dude, it's been insane to think about like how far we've come just like on the growth tree, and like how much further we still have to go just to reach to the level that we see everybody at.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's insane. It's legitimately insane just to see how things have changed from the beginning of of our careers and of the podcast. And fast forward to October was today 24th 2021. In the landscape of wrestling, period. Just like not even just us and our in the region that we run in, but just the wrestling business in general has just changed. And it's crazy. And it's crazy. And we're part of that change. We're a part of that movement, and in some small, little, maybe it's a minuscule way, but we're a part of that change. And it's cool to be a part of that. So I'm stoked to see, what we have coming in the future, what the podcast has coming in the future, what the wrestling business. I'm just all around excited. So I didn't talk enough. We didn't talk enough. So let me get to this finished announcements. Buy a shirt, Pro Wrestling Tees /3 count pod number 3. Buy a shirt. Point blank, buy a shirt. All right. Soon we'll be on What a Maneuver as well. But until then, buy a shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. All right. Boom. There's that. Follow us on social media on everything. Okay. 3count_pod. Okay. On Twitter. Then it's 3count pod, everything, everywhere else. That's the number 3. If you type in THREE, I'm going to find you and I'm going to kill you. Because you should know by now, number 3. Okay. Let's see here. What else? Announcement. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Share with your friends. Share the podcast. Share an episode. If you check out an episode of Now Into the Ring and you think somebody that is a wrestler or who likes who's a wrestling fan and wants to know the inner workings of the business, because it's 2021 and everyone wants to know what's behind the scenes in wrestling nowadays, Go check out, send this episode to them. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, do all that. Definitely support the podcast by sharing it with your friends. So let's get down to business and let's go with our match of the week. Josh, you're starting us off this time. Match of the week.
There is only one option.
No.
You guys know it. I think everyone that watched wrestling this week knows it. I don't even want to say it because I think we're all on we're all telepathically are speaking with each other, Edge, Rollins, easily. Best match.
Okay. Guess what? So that would have been my match of the week. Crazy enough, if I didn't watch Dynamite last night. Even though, this is, like I said, my personal opinion. That Dustin Rhodes and Bryan Danielson match.
Oh, yeah.
It was, so it's a completely different match, clearly, from Hell in a Cell. Okay? Completely different.
Let's still give the edge.
That match was fire. If you think that Dustin Rhodes can't still go, he can still go. And he can still go with the likes of Bryan Danielson. That was that open Dynamite last night. And it was, the first round of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. I enjoyed it. Especially when I thought I was like, I'm not going to enjoy this. It's going to be it's going to be what it is, but it was really good. There were moments in there and I was like, oh, snaps. Dustin got this. Then I realized, no, it's wrestling. Bryan Danielson, of course, gets the dub, but no, that I really enjoyed that. Like, I've been enjoying a lot of Dynamite matches more than I normally do. I don't know if it's the water I'm drinking. I don't know if it's whatever Dynamite's got going on over there, but I've been enjoying a lot more Dynamite matches, and definitely Dustin and Bryan gets my match of the week. Cliffy!
That's not water. Hey, it's funny, man, because we all three have a different match of the week. Normally, two of us are like agreeing on our matches of the week. Yeah, so the Seth Rollins match would have been my number one match if it hadn't been for Dynamite. The Daniel Bryan Dustin Rhodes match would have been my number one match if it wasn't for Bound for Glory. Josh Alexander versus Christian Cage for the Impact title is my match of the week. And that's because, obviously, I'm going to give you my match of the week because the Red Dog Power Rankings won't be on this show because your boy kind of slipped. I ain't going to front. It is what it is. It's the first time since we started the Power Rankings back in January of 2019 that I haven't had a power ranking. It is what it is. But yeah, man, I think I fell in love with the match. It was really good, and I was invested. And even the swerve at the end, really, that's pissed me off. But it is what it is.
Fuck Moose.
Buck moves. Yo, actually, but you know what's funny is that
on personal reasons.
I was like, so I was so pissed about how that match ended. And then I got to think about it. The only reason I'm mad is because Moose is very simplistic with his moveset, but he's very clean with his moveset.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a constant fucking heel. Mm-hmm. And he makes me want to hate him. And I'm like, that's why I don't like Moose. And I was like, he's doing a good job. I
got personal beef.
I
got personal beef.
Yo.
I got personal beef. With Moose. I'm not gonna get into it on the air. If you want,
Just because he was a Patriot and he knocked out the Ravens don't mean anything.
No. That ain't got nothing to do with it. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Ain't got nothing to do with it. He's a coon. That's all I gotta say. And I said that live on the air, and Moose can fight me for it. I don't give a fuck.
What's up? What's up, Rodney?
That I said it there, but nah, I agree. I hadn't seen Bound for Glory, but for what I did hear about it, it was a fire show. Shout out to the Iconics Inspiration. Is that what I forget what they're called now? Is it Inspiration?
Right, Inspiration.
Inspiration.
It is Inspiration. All right, cool. Shout out to them, new Knockouts tag team champion. Shout out to Mickey James, new Knockouts champion. I wouldn't have went that way, but it's cool to see Mickey James hold gold either way. Shout out to Trey, right? New X Division champion. And yeah, and then of course they had fucking Good Brothers. Good Brothers are gonna keep on good brothering. As long as I don't have to see them on Dynamite anymore, I'm cool.
They're gonna be back on Dynamite. What you mean?
No, they won't. The AEW and and Impact partnership is over with now.
Yeah.
So no more. Right?
Yeah.
If I see, listen, I hope not. I hope I don't see the Good Brothers. I didn't like them on I liked them when they weren't on AEW. When they joined up with Kenny and all them, that's when I stopped liking them.
I would not be surprised to see Deonna Purrazzo on AEW here soon.
You think so?
Not saying that she will live Impact, because that's her. Right. But see that match with Britt Baker versus Deonna Purrazzo,
that'd be dope.
Bruh, I'm in with it.
See, that's what you call money. That's a money match.
That is a money match.
That is. All righty. So that was our match of the week. Those who are watching and who are listening, tweet at us or drop in the comments section, little chat box. Tell us what you think your match of the week was. We'd definitely love to hear what you guys think. Maybe you agree with one of our picks. Maybe you disagree with Josh's pick. Hey, let us know. All right, let's go to our first debate topic. Speaking on Josh's pick of match of the week, we're going to talk about Edge versus Rollins. All right. So this past Thursday, yes, that was Thursday, over there across the pond in Saudi Arabia, okay, they had that show called Crown Jewel, that Blood Money show. And they, from what they said, I didn't watch the whole show because I definitely said I wasn't going to watch it, but I was told that I had to watch this one match, and it was the Hell in a Cell match. So it has been said that this was possibly one of the best Hell in a Cell matches of the modern era, even going as far to say that this was the best Hell in a Cell match since the end of an era. And that was WrestleMania featuring The Undertaker and Triple H with Shawn as the special guest referee. So the topic we're going to say, was Edge versus Rollins the best Hell in a Cell match? Period. We'll start with you, Cliff. Then I'll go after, and then JJ, you can conclude.
I'm gonna say no, because that end of an era match was lit, and it did everything I wanted to do. Plus, it was building on some history that had lasted for a while. Now, I do understand Edge and Seth's story and how they were playing off a lot of a history. They were hitting each other with nostalgia moves and, doing it back and forth. But it was just something between those three gentlemen in that ring, in that moment, in that match, that I was just drawn to, and I could not get my eyes off of it. I could not look away. I had to stay, because at any time that match could have ended and I would have missed it. I feel like this match, and this is kind of unfortunate to say, is that with Edge and Seth, it felt like they're like, hey, we know we have to hit our marks, so we're just gonna push, we're gonna stall in certain parts, where I kind of felt like the end of an era match was just telling, and it just seemed like it was three guys in a ring long term just telling stories with no one really in their ear to tell them hey, this is your time cue. Where I felt like this one was like, all right, we're at this moment. All right, go hit the table spot. Oh, go hit the spot where you're gonna throw Seth off of the top turnbuckle and he's gonna hit the cage and then fall through the table. I want, it's good and it is really good. I just wasn't invested as much into the Rollins Edge one like I was into the end of an era. To be fair, and it's gonna sound kind of, and I don't care. You guys can see what you want. I wasn't invested into it as much as I was when it was the Usos and a New Day in Hell in a Cell. So I like this. I would definitely have this in my top 3, but I would not put it up there with End of an Era.
So okay, I gotta agree with you, Cliff. I don't think it was the best Hell in a Cell match. It was good. It was fire. It was like that. Like it deserves all the praise that it gets. It's not the best. End of an Era is an amazing Hell in a Cell match, but you mentioned it, the Usos and the New Day, and that's one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches of the modern era. If we're just gonna, I think we should probably just stick to the modern era because if we go further back, the Hell in a Cell match in itself has changed. From a structure standpoint, from when its first inception. So saying it, period, it's hard. It's like that's like comparing. That's like when we like in any sports when we compare eras and different eras in sports. The game has changed. Like people try to compare basketball, like MJ, LeBron. Well, the game has changed from when MJ was playing. The game, like same thing with football. Like the game has changed. So wrestling has changed. The match has changed. I also have to say that Sasha and Becky from Hell in a Cell is probably, if we're going to stick in that modern era thing, the best Hell in a Cell match of the modern era. And that's the women who did that. Edge and Rollins was good. It's not to say that those two did not put on a banger of a match. And quite frankly, Edge has been putting on bangers since he came back, period. I just think us saying it's the best so far is just it diminishes all those other matches, all the other good Hell in the Cell matches, because there's been some stinkers, like the last one they had over there, and was a stinker. Not saying any names, Rollins, Fiend. But it was good. Everything from the moments, from the emotion, from the false finishes, everything looked clean. It looked good. But saying that this is the best, no, when I can honestly off the top of my head give you 3 that are better, being as Sasha and Becky, Sasha and Charlotte, the first women's Hell in a Cell match, and the Usos and New Day. I think those 3 were better, if not better, but up to the level of Edge and Rollins at Crown Jewel.
I think I would have said it the other way, that Edge and Rollins went to their level, not necessarily.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Go ahead, JJ.
I'm trying to. So I think we have like a lot of recency bias when we see good matches. I think it's also more apparent with Hell in a Cell matches in general, how like the recent ones really haven't been up to par. Like we like the really recent Hell in a Cell matches that we've been getting, they've been
subpar. Yeah,
they've been subpar, and then they've been like
Crush.
They've been breaking. Yeah, they've been trying. Yeah, and basura. Horrible. Delete.
I'm about to say,
like, I can't even get the words out. It's just like, because like those matches, they like destroy like the rules. Like, you know what I mean?
I think. I'm gonna go. You didn't name your point, but before you go, I would just say,
yeah,
I think it's the fact that we get we have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, and which means we get a Hell in a Cell, at least one, honestly, at least 2, really, every year. I think that also plays into a factor that, just going into what your point, Josh, that we get 2 a year regardless. You know, no matter what, we're getting a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which means we're getting at least 2 Hell in a Cell matches. So I think that also diminishes the match itself.
Yeah, because Hell in a Cell is supposed to be the structure to end it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Back in the day, it was you go Hell
It
in a
ended
Cell was
feuds.
this is it. You know, we're gonna get locked in this cage, and and I'm gonna beat you up, and we're gonna finally finish the score. You know, you're right. I'm gonna shut up now.
And it just Hell in a Cell just ain't the same anymore. But however, since I went on a little tangent over there, and I gotta bring it back over. This match was good. It wasn't better than End of an Era. End of an Era, End of an Era is just like it's too symbolic, also in a way that I don't think anything's gonna touch it. You know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying, like it's just like symbolic.
Yeah.
There's like it truly did feel like End of an Era. Like when we really look back at it, like everything just.
But was it an End of an Era? Those two guys still wrestled for like another decade.
Yes. Yes, but like we could clearly say that was like Undertaker, like before like his body really started to like break down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his body started to break down.
Because
Triple H became a part-timer.
You know, we're sitting there talking about the end of the. Sorry, man. I gotta say this. We're talking about the end of the era match, right, bro? Like, I'm gonna be real. If I was to put like a top 5 all time, right, I don't know if I would put this one in the top 5 because to me, I think like we're forgetting about Triple H and Cactus Jack. Like that match was so good. Like storytelling wise, it was just on point. Everything was there. Everything had a purpose. Like there was meaning behind it. The end of an era match. We've already mentioned about the Usos and New Day. We've mentioned about Sasha Banks and Becky being great. Like I don't know if, and we're not even talking about Shawn Michaels and Undertaker won in Hell in a Cell. Like that was the thing that started it all. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if I could even put this in that top 5. And we even had one from Rodney Deal who said Triple H versus Batista. Like,
I totally forgot about that. How could I forget about that one?
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's your favorite. That's your favorite feud, Josh. Of all,
I remember that.
That's your favorite, like, bro. Like, wow. That man Josh will put over that Batista rise to the title feud with Triple H over anything, and I'm just like, bruh, hop off Batista's small dick. Jeez.
But I mean, it was a good match, but it's just like I said, like because we have had so many stinkers, of course it's gonna look really good. I'm sure like if the more we keep mentioning it, it's gonna fall more down the totem pole to where it should be accurately ranked. But and also the recency bias plays a heavy factor. It's just it was a really good match for Hell in a Cell because Hell in a Cell matches have not been up to par. And that's just the bottom line.
I mean, I don't want to take away. It was a really good match. The Hell in a Cell match itself, like, was really good because, and you're right because we've had Brock versus Roman, or not Brock, Roman versus Braun. That was a Hell in a Cell that we got. That was just.
Didn't Brock interfere in that one and he just like crashed the whole thing?
Brock destroyed everybody. Yeah. and then the year before that, we got
I remember that. Because that was the one where they painted the Hell in a Cell red.
Oh, that was the first one. That was when they first did the red.
Yes. No.
That's when they first there was like probably the second or third one that they did. That was
because red. that was the year after Seth and Fiend was Braun versus Roman.
When was Seth and Fiend then? How long?
2 years ago.
That was 2019?
No, it was like 2018, I thought. Because I remember the Hell in a Cell, like I know, and someone's gonna correct us in the comments.
I'm about to search this up right now.
But no, Seth versus Fiend, and then it was Braun versus, because the only reason I remember like those events happening was because we got that one, and then That was the one where Sean Waltman was on WWE Network, and he was like, "How does Hell in a Cell end with a no contest?" He said, "It doesn't make any sense," because Braun had
October
entered.
6th, 2019. The Hell in the Cell with Fiend and Rollins.
Oh wow.
So then that would have been 2020 was Braun versus
Braun and
Roman.
so they did it without fans.
It felt like it was so much longer.
That year, I tell people all the time, 2020 took 3 years off everyone's life. So we feel like everything was so long ago, but 2020 was just a year. I tell people that all the time. It was like, whoa, it felt so long ago. Like, it's okay. 2020 was 3 years in itself.
Yeah.
Wow. That was okay.
Well, wait a minute. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, because no, that's not right. That can't be right because then maybe it was a year before. Because Fiend, Braun, and Roman fought. Was it for the title?
That was after, but that wasn't in Hell in
That
a
was
Cell.
after. Well, because remember he came
That was
back at
after
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
Well, he came back at SummerSlam, and what was the pay-per-view that was right after SummerSlam? Like, I don't know, like Roadblock or something dumb like that.
No,
and
was
they
it
went down.
Payback? No, it wasn't Payback.
I don't remember.
Capital Punishment.
Well, that's what we'll say. That's what we'll say. That's what we'll say.
It's Capital Punishment.
That's what we'll say it was. Someone will correct us in the comments. I don't really worry about it, but yeah, I remember like because last year Roman came back because of remember he had the scare. That's why he left WrestleMania. He didn't compete,
Right.
and then he came back at SummerSlam. And that's when he started the whole Tribal Chief, and he beat up the Fiend and he beat up Braun. And he told Braun, remember he was like beating with the chair. He's like, "You're only a monster because I let you be a monster." And then he was like beating up the Fiend. And then the next pay-per-view, which I think was like 2 weeks later, like Roman won the title, and then he just took off with it after that. Braun or Roman was before. Okay, there you go. He was before. It was the before Hell in a Cell. But yeah, I remember like Braun and Roman ending in a no contest. I was like, yo, that pay-per-view sucked. Now we're talking about bad. See, now we go back. So Edge and Seth, that was the best the best Hell in a Cell. Not in the top 5. It was good. Not in the top 5.
Yeah.
It's weird though because Edge has been in so many Hell in a Cells that we never even like addressed that. Okay, you know what? He's had some pretty good ones too. He's only been in 2.
Only been in 2.
Must be. Wait.
He's only been in 2. I remember that Michael Cole said on commentary.
He's only been. I feel like he's been in like all of them.
It might be Steel Cage that we're getting confused with.
He's only been in 2, and if we include him and Rollins, that was his second. His first one was with Taker.
Oh yeah, and there's another one.
Oh yeah, that
one. Talking about.
His one was with Taker. I remember that. That's childhood right there. That's prime childhood Chaz right there. I remember that. But yeah, he was there. He's only been in 2. That one was with Taker, and that one was good too because that's the one where Edge went through the ring and the fire went up and yeah.
That's right.
So you're right. Yes, you're right. No, like you. But now that we're talking about it, we're actively bringing up different Hell in a Cells. End of an era, even though that's not the point of it's not we're not talking about end of an era. We're talking about Edge and Rollins, but end of an era does fall behind. The more and more we bring up different matches is and like I like Josh's point saying recent bias. We're gonna put end of an era up there because out of the past, that was 2012, right? Because that was WrestleMania 28. No. Yeah, that was
20.
It was 20. Yes, it was. It was 28 because that was
28. Yes, because
Rock.
Yep.
Once in a lifetime. Because 29 they did a rematch, and that's when Taker faced Punk the next year. So yes, so 2012. So we're looking legit almost 10 years. Almost 10 years ago. That's the marker. If we look at it, if we look at a hindsight, our recent memory, if we can further go back as 10 years. That's probably, in the 10 years, one of the best. If we, I think it all depends on the parameters, really. I think however you put the parameters is, I guess, that defines on where we rank end of an era and, quite frankly, we rank Edge and Rollins. Because if we just say the past 10 years, let's just, for the shits and giggles, let's just say for shits and giggles, we change the question and we say, is Edge and Rollins Hell in a Cell the best Hell in a Cell match in the last decade? Does it still fall behind it in the era?
I don't know, but we just got asked a really good question. How many Hell in a Cells do you think there have been?
Too fucking many.
Yeah, 40. I don't know.
So if we're gonna, so when did they start doing the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
I don't know, 2013, 2014.
2013.
Probably.
So then by
Probably
2016 is when we started having two because they started featuring the women, or 2016 or 2017. So
well, we were always getting two. No, we were always getting two because the two worlds. It was always two.
right. Two world
They
titles.
always
Right,
had two.
Right,
It just
right.
depended. It just depended on who was in it. There was always two on that show.
Wow, that's over 20.
We have Joey G actually joining up with us right now, talking about he was actually at
Saudi Arabia.
He was there at End of an Era. He was watching that match. He said the crowd was electric. He said the crowd was on fire in the match between Triple H and The Undertaker, and they went quiet over HBK super kick. You know what? I would agree to that because I remember that super kick hitting, and I remember it felt like a pin dropped in the arena.
So I have a funny story about End of an Era about that match. So that was the first WrestleMania I watched live. Okay, first one I watched absolutely live, and I was with Chris Idol actually. That was his grandma. It was everybody. Was it his grandma's or that his aunts? I don't know. We were somewhere, but it was me, him, Prince Machiavelli was there, and Troy Lewis was there. We were all at this. We were all watching this because it was Rock and Cena, and we all was sitting there watching. And I remember the super kick happened. I'll never forget it. It was the super kick. Boom! I lit up. I said, "It's done." I knew it. The sophomore in high school me just knew. I said, "It's over." I said, "That's it." 1, 2, shoulder falling out. I remember Idol doing a flare bump in the middle of the living room because he thought it was over. Troy Lewis is going, "Oh my goodness," and his overdramatic self is all.
He always overdramatic.
He's overdramatic forever. It's just that's Josh. That's how he is. He's like, "Oh my goodness, this match is awesome." He's hopping.
I could totally picture him.
But I remember that it was that super kick. I think that's probably one of the most. That's almost as memorable as the super kick to Flair at 24. Because it was yeah. But to my question though, if we put it like the past decade, just going over the past 10 years, does Edge and Rollins still fall behind End of an Era? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, Cliff, I got a yes from Cliff. What about you, Josh? Does it still fall behind?
Yeah.
See? I don't know, y'all.
The thing that End of an Era has over it is the symbolism behind it all.
I think that, but is that taking over the fact of the match instead of is just the symbolism that's holding us?
Story.
A story can always carry a story.
Well, yes, the story. Yes,
the story is what's most important in wrestling. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, if you get a good story, but a terrible match, you know what I mean? I mean, it's still a bummer either way. You just still want a great, but like a good story can always carry something. Just saying.
But and I think that was it, and that's why I'm saying like the story with that one legitimately was two guys who were trying to prove that they were the best, and you had this X factor in a gentleman that has bad blood with both people at one time, right? And he was trying to be impartial as shit, and then ultimately he was choosing his friend, and then all that, and the dead man still prevailed over the top. Like, I thought that's a way cooler of a story than, and mind you, I do love both competitors. Then seeing Edge versus Edge Light to talk about how one person wants to cement his self as a Hall of Famer, right? And I dig it, because I do agree. Like when you look at Seth, like, bro, that's Edge from back in the day. That if Edge never got in, had never had to leave, Seth Rollins is Edge. Like that's him. And every aspect, the way he molds, the way he moves, the way he talks, everything about the mindset is Edge. That's Edge from when we always talk about those years that Edge missed. That's Seth Rollins. And it's just, that's cool. But to me, it's these two iconic figures from an era that we all talk about all the time being so great, legitimately just ending that shit in the ring. By the way, so just to give you guys your answers, there's been 50 matches for thanks Rodney for that answer. Sign Rip Guy does say, Joey, what's up? By the way, he says exactly, time stop. He's like, my hand was on my head and I spilled my Sprite. That's funny. I like that. And he says the end of an era still wins for me. And I wonder, and Joey, you can put this in the comments, and I just want to see, like, does that match still hold because you were there live? And if you were live, let's say you're at WrestleMania and you're watching Seth and Edge, would you have pushed it over? Would you have put Seth and Edge over this match?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's the
yeah, because that live factor, being live, matches are better point blank, are better live. Period. We all know that being in the arena watching a match live and the atmosphere with the crowd is always better than watching it, at home. So that's a good question. While he answers that, we're gonna move on. Because we could argue this literally the whole show. Because and the bad things, I love End of an Era, and this will be my last point. I promise we're gonna move on to temp check. I love End of an Era because we all know my admiration for Shawn Michaels and just DX, all that. I really enjoyed Edge and Rollins. Grant, I think also that I was watching it at work, and I think that was another thing because I was bored. So at work, but I was going, ooh, more times than I would normally, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. I see now. I don't know. I'm at a crosshair with this one, guys. So listeners who are listening to this on our podcast, tweet us, please, at 3Count Pod. Tell us, end of an era or Edge versus Rollins, and Crown Jewel. Which is better? I think that should be it. I think we're gonna put that. We're gonna put that on social media either tonight or maybe tomorrow. I'll see what everyone says because I'm very curious to see what everyone has to say about that one. But all right, we're moving on. Temp check. Time to take the temp. All right, temp check. It is now time to see who is the hottest or coldest wrestler going into this week. All righty, I'm going to start us off this week. Oh, buddy, I'm going to give us our cold wrestler going into this week. Bianca Belair. I don't like it. I hate to say it, but Bianca Belair into this week going cold. And that sucks because starting on Monday, she's at a new brand. She's on Raw. So hopefully things will change for her going to the Raw brand. But losing to Charlotte on Raw. And then at Crown Jewel, losing the triple threat match and with Sasha and Becky. She's got to go in my coldest wrestler going into this week. It was also it's a toss up also between Jungle Boy, but Bianca takes it for a fact this time. But my hottest wrestler of the week. I need everyone to stand up for this one, and I want you to acknowledge that the man that sits at the head of the table, he's my tribal chief. He is your tribal chief. Hold the microphone. Your tribal chief. He is the man that sits at the head of the table. He is the reigning, defending, universal heavyweight champion, Roman Reigns is the hottest wrestler going into this week. Okay, I don't care what anyone has to say. That man, Roman Reigns, my cousin, my Uso, my main man, my family, Roman Reigns is the hottest wrestler going in the week for now a month straight. A month straight. Okay, I need you all to understand that man, Roman Reigns, that guy's a stud. Okay, and I need everyone to truly understand that Roman Reigns is the hottest thing in professional wrestling. Not a fucking Kenny Omega, not an Adam Cole, baby, not a Bryan Danielson, not a Josh Alexander, not a damn Moose. It is the tribal chief, the big dog, Roman Reigns. Mic drop. What do you have to say? Doesn't matter, because if it's not Roman Reigns, then it don't make sense.
All right. Well, JJ, go ahead.
Well, all righty. Chaz decided to steal my coldest wrestler. And I'm still going to go with that. But hopefully she turns it around. For the men, I think the hottest wrestler right now is Xavier Woods. Like, let's keep it a $150. See, Cliff is like, I'm with you on that one. I think he's the hottest wrestler going into this week. I know Roman is like a de facto. Like, if you don't have anything, yeah, you're gonna go Roman. Like, Roman's been hot, like, honestly, for a whole year and a half.
Because he's the tribal chief.
I get it. I understand.
Acknowledge him. Acknowledge your tribal chief.
I do acknowledge him.
Acknowledge your Uso.
I do acknowledge him. However, it's like saying if I'm going to do coldest wrestler of the week, I can always put Eva Marie down there.
She's not even on TV.
But it would still work.
You might as well say Dewdrop.
I was, you know what? I was gonna also put Dewdrop there too.
Because let's be completely honest.
How did she lose? That doesn't make no sense. Yo, all right. So I was gonna, you know what? Screw that. I'm not going Bianca no more. Cause I'm going Dewdrop. How? Let's keep this like 100%. Flag on the play. Like, you know, flags that never got called for the Bengals this game. However, flags everywhere. There's red flags. Zelina Vega, mind you, has not won a match since she's been back, and then all of a sudden goes on a run. And now you think I'm...
Hey, that's your queen of the ring, okay? That's your queen. Acknowledge her.
They went barely...
No. First of all, my queen of the ring is not Zelina Vega. The winner of the Queen's crown, yes. Queen of the ring, I don't think so. Okay. She's on Twitter. She's on YouTube. She has her own podcast. That's my queen of the ring.
Fine.
That's the reason why WWE couldn't use the name Queen of the Ring, because she took it and trademarked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Ha!
Serves them right.
Oh, wow. That's funny. I didn't know that one.
But
I didn't know she trademarked it.
But so yeah, like I said, yeah, she didn't win a match, and then she all of a sudden goes on a run. I don't believe it. And they don't even give them 10 minutes.
Throw it
like
trash.
For the first
tournament wasn't 10 minutes long.
Like for the very first, everyone's gonna always remember the very first. You know what I mean? And this entire tournament has been
trash.
basura.
Basura.
Garbage. Honestly, comparing it to garbage would make garbage feel bad. It's worse than garbage.
It's like toe jam.
That movie was basically Venom 2. This
Oh,
entire tournament was Venom 2.
that's not fair. All right.
Very fair, but yeah, that's it. That's my
bias.
hottest. That's my hottest, and that's my coldest. If you don't take it, if you don't like it, who cares? Take it or leave it. That's the spreadsheet for the day. That's it.
So let me give you my coldest wrestler and see how you guys feel about it. My coldest wrestler of the week at one time was a WWE champion. At one time was one of the most feared individuals. At one time may have been even known as the Almighty. Somebody let me know about what's up with Bobby Lashley.
Nah,
well, we knew he was gonna lose.
we knew he was losing. That was a given. That was a
Since
given.
that
Come
man
on.
has lost the title, tell me where he's been.
He
We
was
knew he was
Goldberg.
My man is like a Floyd Mayweather meme. L L L L L L L L L. Yo,
I mean, he was facing Shovelberg. What do you expect?
In Saudi Arabia.
I don't
That's
care.
what they like. They like their old white men.
I don't care.
They would have brought Hulk
don't
Hogan if they
care.
knew.
I don't
Like-
care. I don't.
Honestly, he probably would have been respected
Ice
in
cold.
Saudi Arabia. Let's be honest.
Yes, he would have. What you call
Listen.
it? Wasn't that one year that they wanted him there?
Who?
Hulk Hogan. Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia.
he was
The
there like the
Prince.
first show.
Yeah, he was. He was there. It was the first show. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Anyway, my hottest wrestler going into this week, man, I have to agree with JJ. You could always lean on the tribal chief if you don't have another person, but we do. This man has been chasing his dream of winning the King of the Ring, and I just gotta give it
Thank
up,
you.
man. Xavier Woods
Thank
is
you.
my hottest wrestler
Thank
of
you.
the week. So give it up for your king, the man who sits above the man who sits at the head of the table. Right now.
See,
I hope you
me and
break
Cliff are on the
that
same page. See, great minds think alike.
button.
That's okay, because guess what? Xavier can be the king, but he's not the tribal chief. And they're on the same show. And when the tribal chief knocks down Xavier, okay, and slays the king, hey, because we all know what's going to happen. It's going to be the.
No, I can't wait till they hot shot and put that title on Xavier.
Bruh. First of all, that'd be something.
Yeah,
That'd be something. I'm all jokes aside. I'm happy for Xavier. You know, not to disrespect Xavier anyway in any shape, way, or form. I'm glad that he got his moment. You know, something that he's always wanted as a kid. King of the Ring. That's dope. Like that's like from a kid who watched wrestling and like, you know, I want to main event WrestleMania. That's all. Like if I get on the show, that's fine. I don't even have the main event. I just want to be on WrestleMania. I just want to walk down the ramp in front of a stadium and just look and be like, oh shit, there's a lot of people here. Once that happens, I can retire, be happy. So having that dream of winning the King of the Ring and like, boom, you do it. I respect that. But having him win the Universal title and have him finally have that single accolade, because now Big E's had his run, Kofi had his run. Xavier's the only one who has not had a singles title, period, really. Because Big E's won, NXT champion. He's won the IC title. So that'd be cool. I don't think he's the one to dethrone Roman, though. But that'd be dope. I don't think it's Rock because I don't think we're getting Rock this year either. I think we're getting Brock and Roman again at Mania.
Beach balls, baby.
Because especially after Roman being suspended, Brock's about to be in the Rumble and Brock's about to win the Rumble. That's just my early prediction.
I hope not.
But yeah, that'd be dope. Xavier winning the Universal title. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. All right, that's temp check.
You need to stop. You need to stop and put some respect on that man's name, King Xavier Woods.
All right, King Xavier Woods. Whoop-de-doo. Not the tribal
lordship.
King Xavier. This can go with King Xavier.
King Xavier. I thought it was King Woods. That's what they were going with, King Woods.
I don't know.
I don't think
anybody's King Woods. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm gonna say. I don't think they would go that because of the potential backlash.
Oh, yeah, remember the last time WWE named something wrong when they were like, "Hey, Charlotte, Paige, Becky, submission sorority." Oh, that's a porn? PCB. That's their team name.
It's just the bad things. I remember that. And
I remember it too, and I was laughing because Chaz, you was like, "Wait, that's a porn site," and I'm like,
"Because first of all, the thing is this: when you first heard it, and
it sounded weird.
Let's keep it real. All right, this is high school for me. I'm a high school teenager. Mine's always in the gutter. When they first announced that, even I was like, that sounds dirty. But you can, and Chris, I was my witness because we used to watch Raw and SmackDown on the phone for 3 hours all the time. So I remember I'm like, bro, that sounds dirty. Submission sorority, like that just sounds dirty. And then come to find out it was a porn site, and then they had to change it, and they changed it to something so honor. They didn't think too much about it. They were like, we just got to change it. Just but
just a quick Google. The crazy thing is, it's not like it wasn't Google, wasn't around. You just done a quick Google search, you would have seen that that's probably not the best thing to name it. But they were like, we're gonna ride this for the first hour, and then they realized what they did, and they were like, oh yeah, no, you guys are just, because to be real, if you didn't know that was a corn site, because you can't say that word on YouTube, you get demonetized, whatever. We don't make money off of the porn site. You didn't know, yeah. No. You can't say. You can't say
certain words. You can't say.
Yeah, you also can't curse on there, but so fucking what? Anyway, so a simple search would have told them that was not a good site to good thing to name them, but you kind of understood because obviously the disarmer, the figure 8, and then Paige's tap out, it made sense. And then you realize oh no, we made a huge mistake here. A massive mistake. Shouldn't do that.
No, fact. That's the thing. It made complete sense, what you call it. And calling them, the submission sorority. It made sense, but yeah, that was it. Yeah, it wasn't a good look. All righty. Hilarious, bro. Hilarious. All right, did not know you couldn't say porn. As I say it now the 5th time.
I can't wait. And then YouTube's gonna hit us with a strike, and they'll be like, "Say it one more time." Be like, "We'll go to Rumble anyway."
Exactly. All right, debate topic. All right, debate topic number 2. So this is going to lead into our 3rd debate topic as well. But this past Friday night on SmackDown, we had the title exchange. And before we get into the actual, title exchange itself, a topic that was brought up on Twitter pretty much all day Friday, as soon as they announced that the title exchange was happening, should championships, as far as WWE is concerned, because I think this is the only company that really does it, but should championship have brand limitations? Okay. Being as so, there's a SmackDown Women's Champion, there's a Raw Women's Champion. The same thing goes with the tag titles. If you can say the same thing with NXT as well. They're NXT tag titles, NXT Cruiserweight Championship now, which is what it is. So should championship have a brand limitations? Because we don't see that issue as far as the Universal title and the WWE title. So Should the championships have brand limitations? All right, let's start with you, Drip Master JJ.
The problem with my biggest issue is the fact that it's called the SmackDown title. It has to be limited to SmackDown, just like with the NXT champion, because it has NXT in its name. It has to be limited to NXT. So the thing is with the WWE championship, it's not saying the Raw's WWE champion or the Raw or the SmackDown's WWE champion. You know what I mean? So it's because of the wording. I don't like. I think that it should be, because I feel like title exchanging is like just like, oh well, like what Becky and Charlotte did basically, for example, like in terms of, oh, we're just gonna exchange the titles because we're getting drafted to different brands. I don't like that. That doesn't, it's just kind of cheap and cop outish. I feel like if like you're a SmackDown Women's Champion, you shouldn't be able to be drafted. Or if you do, you have to relinquish the belt. Maybe, I don't know, but that would still be cop outish as well. I don't know, but I don't like it. I don't like anything about this. I hate it. I hate this question. I hate everything. I hate the segments where they're switching titles because it makes them look stupid. I hate everything.
This man says, I hate this question. Damn, bro.
Right. Like I you know,
I know you worked hard on this question, and I tried to work hard around the bushes to try to give you the JJ type of answer, and it wasn't working. So I gave up.
My golly, I try to give good, you know,
I don't mean to
things that are
you.
relevant in wrestling for the week.
No, it's definitely relevant. I don't mean to shit on your thunder, because I know that you
definitely are shitting on my thunder.
I'm trying to shit. I'm like shitting on myself because I'm not finding a way to weave through the question like I usually do. Why? Thank you.
Let's be real. Okay, so I think if you put the title on someone during a draft, like that person becomes exclusive to that brand, and they shouldn't be able to get switched.
Thank you.
I think it's stupid. Like, yo, you planned it out. Like, I don't understand. We have a whole WWE. You have a whole year to plan out the draft. So you mean to tell me you can't figure out a plan? You're like, hey, we don't got nothing. You know what? We're just gonna we're gonna swap the champs, and then you're just gonna switch titles. You have a whole year. You could literally have Zelina Vega win the title on SmackDown. If you want Charlotte to go to Raw, just have her drop the title. It's that easy. And then have your new hot babyface or new hot heel come in and take it. It just makes sense. Like, it's just crazy to me. You're just like, nah, we just have the swaps. But it's more relevant. It's more noticeable because, like, the men, right, with Big E and Roman, obviously, like, they're stuck on their brands, but like you low key just like Charlotte, Becky, they can just swap titles. The New Day and Street Profits, they can just swap titles. Like, that's fine. What are you gonna do for the US title and for the damn Intercontinental title? You just gonna swap champions too with that? Like, it's just dumb to me. I don't really like it. I think if you're a champion of that show, you gotta stay where you are until you drop that title. And if you drop the title a week before the draft, so be it. I can't get with it. I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, how do you have a whole year to plan for this, and in the week of the show, like, you just change it up? Like, because you're like, I don't know what to do. Oh,
because they don't have a plan.
I know. Like, that's the bigger problem is get a plan. Put a plan together like 2 months out. Like, it's not that hard. You run $1 billion company. You know what stuff is going to be happening at what month and what days. Why not do that with the wrestlers too? It's weird to me, but I definitely think that you should, like, if you're a champion of the brand, you got to stay where you are. You're repping where you are, and because then you go, like, you have the draft, and then what happens like 3 weeks after the draft? Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series. And it's like, because even Becky said it, right? Becky was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take my time. I'm gonna leave. I'll see one of you guys at Survivor Series," and just like walks off. Wait, what? Like, you you've been on SmackDown since August. Like, I don't agree to this. This is dumb. So it just kind of, and then it just makes the brand look stupid too, because you're like, what do you mean? Like 3 weeks later, like all of a sudden, like a team like the New Day being on SmackDown, and let's say the Street Profits over on Raw. Now you're gonna have them compete after they're on the other brand because they're gonna rep SmackDown. Like, come on, man, stop that. Yeah, here with all that dumbness. Like, just make the plan, have it run after SummerSlam, and run it because you know the draft's coming up. Or move the draft to the day after WrestleMania, or a week after WrestleMania, like you had it before, and then you could have some real stakes at limits. You add some real stakes to it, where you're like, if you lose Survivor Series, you lose your champion at the draft. Like, make it mean something to me, man. Do something with it. That's sorry.
Ultimately, so but my thing on it is this. I think this goes back to the brand split and what the brand split, means as far as in 2021.
Yeah, that's what it means.
What are the rules? Because
what
if
are the rules?
Because if I don't mind having titles be, exclusive to a certain show, if the wrestlers on that show can't go to the other show, throughout the year, or at least go there without repercussions. Remember how back in the day, how if somebody went to Raw or SmackDown, they would get repercussions, like there would be a fine or something like that. Like they was like, oh my God, he's a SmackDown guy. Why is he doing? I think that's the thing. Like, and this goes back to our conversation, our debate when we had talked about the draft and whether the draft, was still necessary in 2021. So I think this also goes back to that. But I agree. If you're going to do the title switch, the champions, all champions should be exempt from the draft. Expect if you don't want to have all champions, make sure this the title specific to that show champion. So that's the tag champions, the women's champion, and they're exempt from the draft. You can still do the United States champion because they don't have the damn name of the show in the championship. It's not like it's the SmackDown Intercontinental Champion or the Raw. I don't have a problem with it.
Who is the U.S. champ, by the way?
Hold on.
Huh?
Damian Priest.
Okay. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, Damian Priest. Unless he lost it. Then again, I don't watch Raw, but unless he lost it.
Yeah, he's still the champ. Champ. I'm just thinking about it. I legit forgot for the last 10 minutes, and I was just trying to think about who the champ was.
But no, you bring up a good point. Like, for example, the women's tag team champions, right? They're not exclusive to any show. They're the WWE. And I think that's the issue, is that we have these belts exclusive to the shows. And I know why we do it, so that, we have championships for, everybody on a specific show. Like, for example, we can have a champion for our tag division on Raw, and we have a tag division for, champions for our SmackDown tag division. And that's all fine and dandy. But go back to doing how you used to do it and being two separate belt titles. Like back then, remember when Raw had the World Tag Team titles and then SmackDown had the WWE Tag Team titles and they were two separate belts? Why don't you do that? You can still keep them the different colors if you want, but it's It's lazy. Like, and I think we've all gotten to this thing of like WWE's just being real lazy with a lot of things. And it's dumb. It is dumb. Like the title exchange is dumb. Okay. Having them switch titles and be like, oh yeah, well now you're the Raw. That don't work like that. Because you didn't beat, the Raw people for that belt.
Yep.
Like Becky did not fight anybody on the Raw side, on that Raw women's division to become Raw Women's Champion. And vice versa, neither did Charlotte.
It's basically getting handed the belt.
Yes, it is. And now you have a new title reign. Like, does that title reign end and you have a new title reign?
Yes, I think so.
So now does that mean that Charlotte's now, what is she? Is she 15? Is it 15?
No, I still think it counts in the current title.
I know WWE is probably still counted as their current.
That doesn't make sense then, Clip. See, that doesn't make sense because they're two different titles.
It shouldn't. It should be.
Are there two different titles according to WWE, or are they just the women's titles and they just swap them? Because I don't remember them doing that for the New Day when they swapped from the Raw to the SmackDown.
They should have though. Technically speaking.
Yeah, because they're two separate championship titles. So that runs is. See,
I still think they refer to the New Day as 11-time tag team champs.
Yes, they did.
12.
Yes, they did.
That would technically be right.
Oh man, see now I got issues. Now I have issues.
You've been had issues. We've known you've had issues for a while now.
Man, it's just they're two different. They should. They should just have one set of titles, and then both of those champions, all the champions go to both shows. That's what they should do. Kind of like how they had the undisputed belt.
Or they should just change the names. Like,
you can change
for the women.
names,
For the women, you can do the WWE Women's title, and then you have to probably, knowing them how lazy they are, they're going to do WWE Women's Universal title. You know what I mean? Them being lazy,
but at that point, but then again, though, we still but then that still runs into that problem that we always talk about. There are too many title belts in WWE. That's you're running into that category.
That way, champions could not be exempt because it's not technically particular to one.
Right, exactly. I mean, they're not. Yeah, the champions they don't get drafted because they're not relegated to a certain show. They should just do that like they did back in the day with the undisputed belt. Have one, there's one champion on both shows, and it should work for NXT as well. But we all know how they see NXT. So fuck it. Just throw all the belts away. Call it a day.
I know they should go back to the days of the undisputed era.
Too bad the guy's gone.
Both of them.
Two of them. 2 of the 4. And pretty soon it's gonna be. And pretty soon it's gonna be 3 of the 4.
You're gone. They stop.
That was a dope theme song, and I'm so upset that we will never hear it again on TV.
I was just saying that yesterday.
Gone.
I was just saying it yesterday about how we were listening to. So I was traveling up to New Jersey, and we were listening to theme songs, and the Fiend's theme song came on. It was a cover from what Agent Orange did, right? And I was like, I'm just so mad. I'm never gonna hear this song on live TV anymore. I was like, the goosebumps that I was getting every time that song started. I was like, it's never gonna happen again. I was like,
yeah, sucks. It sucks. It definitely sucks. All right, let's go to our last topic for the evening. And I don't know how to describe it. It's the talk of today, really, instead of today and Saturday. A lot of reports been coming about the segment of the title exchange. Now we talked about the title exchange itself. Now let's talk about the actual segment. Okay. So to give you all a brief synopsis on this on what happened on Friday Night SmackDown. So the title exchange was supposed to happen. Sonya Deville was out there, and she was telling Becky and Charlotte to give them each the belt so she could swap them off to each other. So what happens is Charlotte tries to play a little cat and mouse thing with the Raw Women's Championship, which was supposed to happen. Now, what happens now, whether you want to say it was intent or if it was an accident, but the belt falls. Okay. Charlotte drops the belt. Okay. And she goes to pick it up. And she kind of makes Becky look stupid. But hey, like I said, you can be the judge of that. Go watch. For anyone who hasn't seen it, go watch the segment and you can have your own opinion on the segment itself. But what happens is so when Sonya gets the belt from Charlotte, Becky's supposed to give the belt to Sonya to hand to Charlotte, but Becky chucks that shit at her, which I thought was the most funniest shit ever. Chucks the belt at her, takes the belt. Sasha comes out, does her little thing, and, whatever. So reports have come out that beforehand, Charlotte had said that first of all, Charlotte didn't want to do this in the first place, saying that this is dumb, which she's not wrong, that she doesn't want to look weak and it makes the title reign look weak. And it's also, I'm trying to think now, I lost my train of thought. Wow. Live recording, guys.
Live.
I lost my train of thought. Where was I going, Cliff?
I don't know, but it was awesome to see Charlotte catch the belt that Becky threw at her.
Facts.
So really,
Yeah.
I think the bigger question is it's kind of like backstage, right? From post segment, Becky and Charlotte had words, and a lot of people are getting into question whether Charlotte's attitude is becoming kind of like boosting up her ego. And so that's kind of been like the big topics going, all over wrestling on Twitter. So
right. Yes, there it is. Yeah. A lot of talents are saying that Charlotte, has alienated herself from everybody. And Sam saying that she is being difficult to work with. And during this backstage scuffle that Becky and Charlotte had, a lot of people are saying, are rooting for Becky, saying that she was the hero in this sort of situation, standing up to Charlotte and whatnot, and, pretty much standing up for the rest of the women. So I guess the topic, I don't know really how to word the debate, but I guess I don't know how to word it, Cliff.
Is Charlotte's ego getting too big?
They're simple as enough. Is Charlotte's ego getting too big? All right, so if that's what we're gonna go with, I'll start this one off for this one. So, I do think Charlotte's ego is getting too big. And the funny thing is, I say this because I was saying Charlotte's ego was too big around 3 years ago. I was saying this a long time ago. The way Charlotte has been presented to us is ultimately Charlotte in real life. And then again, I can't say that too much because I don't know her personally, but that is how it has come off, especially with the reports of what's being said now. Now, I don't know whether or not that Charlotte is upset with, management as far as how things went about with Andrade, or how things went about with some of her friends and things went with her father. But Charlotte is what? She's how many, Josh? You know her stats more than anybody because you're the biggest Charlotte hater, and you know her stats. How many? She's a what? 13?
Well, they've been taking off reigns from her. She's actually technically like 17 already.
No, they've been taking off reigns. I knew they
Yes, they have.
Would.
They've taken off her NXT title reigns.
So the NXT is not a world title.
Technically, it is, but
is it? No, it's not.
Yes,
it's a developmental title. There, I said it. Damn it.
they counted it. They counted it at one point, and then they took it off.
They did count it.
They counted as her world.
Yes, they did. They've taken off I think they've also taken off another reign. I can't remember, but
Oh,
they've been taking off reigns from her.
see, they back to
So
the corner. But so anyway, she's like whatever she is. She won the
too
belt a
many,
lot of times.
too many, too many times.
And it has, and you can see this it's just real apparent because even with the stuff, I think I really believe it started when Ronda came in because the focus was more on Ronda than Charlotte. Because before Ronda came in, it was Charlotte's game. Charlotte was the top female in the company before Ronda showed up. Am I wrong?
No.
Well, then Ronda showed up, and then the turn happened with Becky. Well, the attempted turn. Let's say the attempted turn. The attempted turn happened, and then Becky was the star.
And the potato.
And the potato flew around. So I think Charlotte's real issue is that she was thrusted into the spotlight from her call up until, the potato. Because I think let's go with that, until the potato and Ronda showing up. It was Charlotte's game. Okay. You say what you want about the Bellas being there and having it was the Bellas and all. No, it was always Charlotte was the face of the women's division. Then Ronda showed up, and then Becky came. Then the man came along, and I think that has always rubbed Charlotte the wrong way because Charlotte was always portrayed as the guy. I don't want to use the term the guy, but the
girl,
the woman,
the women,
the woman, yeah, as the face of the women's division. And now that she is not the face of the women's division, Charlotte has been throwing that shovel in a sense around, boosting, shoving around, especially some of the talent that's in the lower echelon, like everybody else. That's not a 4-horsewoman. It's good. But the thing is this, guess what? They're not going to give her repercussions. She's still the golden goose. Okay. And despite the fact that, Vince is pissed at her because she walked out of SmackDown at the end of it and didn't talk to him and went to AEW to go see Andrade wrestle, everything's going to be all copacetic come next week on SmackDown. Okay. You don't be. Charlotte's going to still be SmackDown Women's Champion, come around whenever the next pay-per-view is. Was the Survivor Series, right? So they're not going to lose the title. So come around December, they're not doing TLC. They're doing they're doing that a New Year's show, whatever they call it. Because they're not doing TLC.
Run or whatever it was. Yeah.
Whatever it's called. She's still going to be SmackDown Women's. She's going to be SmackDown Women's Champion probably until Mania.
Listen. Okay. I know you probably had an idea that you wanted JJ to run, but I'm going to side with Charlotte. And I'm going to tell you why. So 3 years ago, she was, you guys are right? She got thrusted into the spotlight. Okay. And she became the name. All right. And then, she kind of started building up herself, right? And then Ronda came into the business and everybody started talking about Ronda, and Charlotte kind of faded to the back. And then the turn happens with Becky, and then the fans side with the man, and then they turn her into this tweener. Then the potato happens, right? And then we're at Survivor Series, and there's a point where Charlotte is trying to get the crowd like on her side, and they start booing her. And I was listening to, and I say this because I was listening to Oral Sessions, right? And she mentioned about how she stopped caring about what the fans were thinking, and she just wanted to go out there and perform. And she's like, whether they're good or bad, she's getting the reactions. Here's where we fast forward, right? We fast forward to what happened earlier this year, right? Charlotte, mind you, they've been doing Rick dirty with all these stories, right? That's gonna piss her off, right? Then you have the Andrade situation, right? Where they tell her you either not talk about the Andrade situation or you'll lose your spot at WrestleMania. And then they told her she was pregnant and they pulled her off the pay-per-view and she showed them that she wasn't. They're like, well, we're already going forward with WrestleMania panel, so you know, you got to go. You're not going to be at WrestleMania. They took her off the WrestleMania card and then she came back and she's pretty much just like, she's disgruntled. And I don't blame her. This year for Charlotte Flair, regardless of how many titles you throw at her, at the end of the day, has sucked for her. Just flat out. Just going to say it like that. How do you lie to your employee? The doctor lies to the employee. Independent contractor lies to the independent contractor and says, hey, you popped up pregnant. We can't use you for this next couple weeks. And she's like, no, I'm negative. No. That's not what happened. We popped up, so you can't be at WrestleMania either. Then they're like, oh, never mind, we were wrong. Oh, but we released Andrade, so Andrade can have his no compete clause taken away if you give up your WrestleMania spot. And then she does for her fiance. And then they told her she couldn't fly to Mexico to go watch him at AAA. Do you think really she gives a fuck about what they have to say? She no-showed a show in Charlotte, North Carolina that she was supposed to be at. Actually, I'm sorry. They told her no, and she no-showed and said she was taking a personal day, went to AAA, and watched her fiance with that match with Kenny Omega. I 100% side with Charlotte right now with this. Her attitude, justified. I don't have a problem with it. She's a disgruntled employee. Maybe because I'm also one too. And I just realized I'm like, yo, we share a lot in common right now. But like, you can't tell me that at this point, like, she's wrong. She's pissed, right? She's away from somebody she cares about, both people, because they both asked to leave and they both were offered, they were both granted the releases, and she can't be a part of it. So she walks into Gorilla, doesn't want to talk to Vince, right? Now, I've heard rumors on the other side that in Gorilla, like, Becky and Charlotte had words, but Charlotte just left and was like, I don't have to be here. And just walked out and went to Dynamite. I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem. She's doing what an employee would do. And she understands she's an independent contractor. She's like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? And you already said it best. What are they gonna do? Take her SmackDown title away? Have her lose to Charlotte or Sasha so that Sasha and Becky go and have a match at Survivor Series? Ooh, what's Charlotte gonna do? Take the fall at the women's Survivor Series match? And then what? She gonna go walk to the back, get on the plane, go to Full Gear? Like what? Like, what's gonna be the thing? What's the ramifications for her? She don't care. And I don't blame her. When they release her, everybody's gonna be like, what is Charlotte gonna do? I don't want to use her real name. What is Ashley gonna do? She gonna go. She gonna go to AEW. Nobody, like, I don't understand. Like, wouldn't you be disgruntled too? Like, if your work came to you and messed you up in money, you're gonna work for them, but you're not gonna forget what happened. You get gypped out of a big bonus. Like, you supposed to be on that pay card for WrestleMania. You get gypped out of that money. You get that money get taken from you. You're gonna start acting a fool, and she is well in her right to do so.
Well, all right, Drip JJ.
Charlotte. I don't know how I'm gonna attack this question.
The same way you attacked the last one.
See, I feel like I've already built up this persona where, like,
You hate Charlotte and everything.
I'm basically Skip Bayless and she's LeBron.
No, you have. That's exactly what you've done. That's exactly what you've done. Anything that involves Charlotte Flair, you vilify it. You just does not matter what it is.
So it's like, do I keep with the persona and find a way to attack her? You know what I mean?
Listen, at this point, if you find a way, I've
destroyed kayfabe right now because I just told everybody like, oh man, yikes. Okay. Now, if I was in character, this is what I'd say. Miss Fleur.
I believe it's pronounced Fleer.
Fleur. Miss Fleur. Now you see how it feels. Being buried, kind of not being buried, but when you take the opportunity away from other people, and now the company decides to take opportunities away from you. Since it's like, no, let me stop. I can't even do this. I can't even do this.
I'm like,
I can't even do that.
I was like, you don't even believe the shit you're saying yourself.
Nope. Nope.
Keep it 100. Like
keep it 100.
Yeah.
Charlotte's in the right. I'm gonna hang up now.
And he laughed.
That's what I've been saying though, man. She's not wrong. Like, bro, like she legitimately was like, yo, like I'm mad because my fiance left the promotion that was like, hey, if you want to make it in this business, learn to speak English. And he did. He's been trying and getting better. And then what did you do? You just disregarded him because you lost faith in him? Because you're like, nah, we don't see it. So he left. And she's like, why did you guys let him walk out? He's a talent and he's amazing. And now, JJ's coming back. But like, she's not wrong. She's very justified for how she feels. And WWE can't do anything about it. Like, that's the way she's rocking right now. Take a title offer for her. What are you going to do? Nothing.
I mean, I understand all that, but at the same time, I think there are ways. I think we got to remember that be professional about things. I think that's if we put that aside, but there's also the professional way of going about it. We're still professionals, and you still have to to carry yourself as as a professional. Like she has. I'm not saying that she doesn't have a right to be upset and to be mad about what has gone on the past year. Yes, I agree. If it was me in a situation, I'd be upset as well too. But to be labeled as difficult to work with is what?
They said the same thing about Bray Wyatt. That Bray Wyatt was too difficult to work, that he was difficult. Do you really believe that Bray Wyatt was difficult? Like, do you really believe
I think
Wyndham was difficult to work with in the back? He understood the character and he wanted to run with that character. Do you really believe he was difficult? That's like saying that, like, people were saying Malachi Black was difficult to work with in WWE. Really? Aleister Black was difficult to work with? Stop. Anybody who ends up getting released from there, all of a sudden they're difficult to work with. Nah, I can't see it.
It's more of that they wouldn't accept what we had for them and what we had going on and what process.
But that's the thing. That's what you sign up for when, like, I don't see. That's what you sign up for, and that's what you sign up for when you join WWE. And I think that, like, I that's why I gotta draw the line there. That's what you sign up for when you go to WWE. That is what you sign up for, regardless of if it's your character or not. You go by what they have for you. We've been saying it. We've been saying it for months that WWE is not a wrestling company and they're just a television show that has wrestling in it.
But they have work. They have writers because this is something. Okay, so this is something they talk about on the New Day all the time, right? They have writers who come in and work with the talent on how to portray their characters. That's the reason why the original New Day didn't work out. And so now when they have their writer come in and talk to him, they tell that man, this is what you're going to tell Vince. And this is what we're going to do. And we're going to work together and we're going to make this blend. And that's how they do it now. But certain people, you can't tell me, because like John Cena would say it himself. John Cena would sit in the back and write promos because guess what? Somebody else cannot write the promos that John Cena needs to write when he's doing a Doctor of Thugonomics. He has to be the one to do it. He has to believe the words that he's saying. He's battle rapping. Like that's him. Somebody else can't do that. So you have to bring in writers to work with them to help develop those characters. It's the same thing with Bray. It's the same thing with Alistair. Like you have to learn to make those guys come off genuine. And that was the problem with Charlotte. That's the problem. You put Charlotte in this position. So now you're pissed because Charlotte, maybe, depending on if character-wise, whatever, whether she believes her own hype or not, regardless of that, that woman is pissed. And while people keep saying that she's difficult to work with, is she difficult to work with? Or is this that you are saying that because this is what you created? They created that problem. But to say, in that, not that I'm trying to change the subject out, but to say that Wyndham Rotunda was difficult to work with because the bullshit that you were trying to put out there, because you asked this man to develop a whole new character, and he did, and it was fire, but you decided to shit on it because you're like, oh, it didn't come from us. It didn't come from our writing staff, so we'll bury it. We don't know how to book it. That was their problem. Sorry. That whole difficult stance, I don't believe, because it's so weird that they would even say that about Andrade. That Andrade was difficult to work with. Why? Because there was a language barrier? Because you can't write for Hispanics? I don't know. I'm just saying. It was weird how.
Also, I can say the same. They did the same to Nakamura. I think he should have been champion at least once. WWE champion at least once.
Well, he was. I mean, he was champion.
We know everybody that is about 45 or older is racist. So, yeah, you have to just get with that. I'm just putting that out there.
It's just wild though, man. Like everybody's like, we don't know how to write for them, so they're difficult to write with because they don't like the stuff that we throw at them.
But back to the point though, with Charlotte being pissed, still, like there are ways you carry things in a professional standpoint, and just because, like, no, like she should have went out there. Like, is it? Whether or not the segment was dumb, stupid, and make her look bad, that's all fine and dandy. I'm not like that's fine. But when you are given something and we can, all of us have had jobs, all of us have jobs, and we know when our boss or the people in charge tell us we got to do a certain thing, we may not like it. It may be stupid as hell. We still got to do it.
No, that's facts. It's a job is a job, bro.
It's a job. Like I understand Charlotte is pissed about the year and everything and all that, but
I'm just throwing out that speculation. I'm not saying that she is. That's all just on me.
Like, but I'm just gonna use that though. Just a speculation, right? Let's just say that is the case. That don't give you don't give you the right to go on TV, fuck up I won't say fucked up the segment because
You mean act like a child, you mean?
Yes.
Because that's exactly what she did.
Act like an upset independent contractor. That's what she did. That's how I
No,
see
she
it.
acted
Well, we
like
know,
a.
but
She acted
see
at the
that
end of the
independent
day. She
contractor
acted
crap.
like
We all know
They're
that
employers.
quote unquote independent contractor. We know how WWE runs their ship. We know how they run it, and I hate that the
But
fact
she's still employed by him though.
exactly she getting a paycheck from them. Point blank, she's getting a paycheck, and she's like, it's just. I hate that we all, and it's not just. I'm not just saying speaking us as the three count.
I do it.
Wrestling fans in general always act like, oh, WWE did this, when we know how this ship is ran. Like they ain't been doing it for 50 years.
I mean, wrestling's kind of been doing it for 50 years, besides recently.
Like, yes.
But I think it's because there's two parts to it, right? What we think is going on backstage, right? And what
True.
is actually going on backstage. So we hear
Fact.
about these reports and then we talk about these reports as if we know that's going on. So our view of the company becomes tainted because of it. Now, is there some truth to it? There are some truths to it. Let's be real. There's some things that come out that we're like, oh,
There's
yeah.
three sides
then-
to a story.
Yeah, and then
Exactly.
we get confirmation about those stories, like John Moxley's interview, right, with Talk to Jericho, where he didn't want to say the words that he was riding backwards on a unicycle while eating pizza backwards or something stupid like that, talking to a homeless man. Like he was like, "That's dumb." And he's like, and I kept kicking it back, and then finally it came back saying VKM, which means that you gotta go talk to Vince or the one who should not be named. Sorry, but that he had to go talk to him, right, and then talk about it, and McMahon was like, no, because you're lunatic. You're crazy. That's what you're supposed to do. Because that's how he understood the character. Like, I don't know, man. I think maybe maybe he was upset because Charlotte blew by him and didn't want to talk to him. Could be, and we'll find out here in the next couple weeks.
Have her drop the belt.
At the end of the day, it's a job. Vince McMahon is in charge. His last word is final. It's his company, regardless of how we feel about it or anybody feels about it. At the end of the day, if you don't like it, there's the door. Any employer will tell you that.
And that's what she's
don't
trying
let
to
the
do.
door hit you. The good Lord split you. So it is what it is. I mean,
Charlotte is trying. It looks more. You can attest to this. Maybe it looks like she's like legitimately trying to say like, "Let me go."
I mean, she probably is. I mean, and that'd be good for her because she probably needs to branch out to other fucking places to make sure that she is what she believes her hype is to be. Right now, she's homegrown talent.
And then maybe, just maybe, Josh will stop vilifying her every goddamn week.
Except she's doing her job then.
Josh is just a hater.
He is. It's okay.
You missed it. He admitted that he vilified.
No. I saw it. I was watching. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it, buddy. I saw you leaving everything. Saw it all, pal. Saw it all. Yeah, I'm never gonna let you live that down, buddy.
This man, like last year's problem is he would not talk good about fucking Pat McAfee. This year he admits that he is a pure hater of Charlotte and that she was right. This man is the biggest flip flopper of the world. Get him out of here, coach.
That's all right. I understand you low-key like Charlotte.
This man is.
I don't like Charlotte.
This man is
line right here.
No, I don't want to hear it. You are the Kevin Durant of the 3 Count podcast.
Oh, God damn it. God damn it. That's cool. That means I'm second best.
No, if this was Space Jam, you would have joined the Monstars. That's how this works.
Damn.
JJ, we need your help. You mean you need help? I'm a Monstar. You would have been like, I'm on Team I'm on Team Cheeto right here, baby. Like, what you got?
Oh man,
tough breaks for this man. JJ flips. I can't wait to see who next year. Like he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. I guarantee next year, JJ goes, Tessa Blanchard, She's a good wrestler. I'll put it out there right now.
He is. That is the truth, though.
Oh, that's funny.
She a horrible piece of shit, but I mean, she can wrestle. We know a whole bunch of horrible pieces of shit that can wrestle.
Just like
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. I'm gonna see one on the 14th of November. That should be fun. Oh yeah, at my job. Yeah. Yeah. I hope. The funny part about it is the next day is my last day.
JJ, just make sure that you're listening to us on
yeah,
YouTube.
they fucked up.
He legitimately like took his headphones off just to put on his earbuds so that you can listen to us on the YouTube channel.
Oh man, well, that's awesome. All right, we that's the show. There's no, like I said, there's no what's called power rankings this week. Cliff fucked up.
Oh, he got the ball.
Oh man, we can't do our
The first time since January of 2019 or 2020. Like
that's pretty damn good record, man.
Right.
Like it's like, you know, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but yo, I kind of Cal Ripken Street. Like that was pretty good.
That was pretty fucking good. Nah, good job.
So you know what? Guess what? You know, just for that, Cliff. Guess what? You get a.
You get a gold star.
Right. Good streak going. Oh man. But thank you to all of those who made it to the end of the show. As I always say every week, it is you get an achievement or a trophy, depending on what console you play, for making it to the end of this goddamn debate show. Because that is a hassle. I know how we can get on tangents, and sometimes you thought we were listening to a wrestling debate show and you just start listening to a roast session between a bunch of friends. So definitely shout out to you for making it this far. Also, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, podcast.com, wherever you get your podcast fancy on. Make sure you subscribe to us there. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star frog splash review. Leave a review on us. You know, tell us what you think about the show. Follow us on social media, 3Count Pod. That's the number 3, not THREE. If you type in THREE, I'm going to get my man's Damien to fuck you up.
I know where y'all live at, just to let
exactly.
you know.
You see how he came in at the very end, so he's always there, and he was watching, so he's always here. Whether you might not see him or you might not hear him, but he is there.
Yep, I see everything. Yeah, somebody was.
Follow us on Twitter, 3count_pod. That's the number 3. Like I said, don't you dare type in THREE. Also, make sure you go buy a shirt at Pro Wrestling Tees, and we're going to get on more maneuver very, very soon. Check out the next episode of Now Into the Ring, featuring my best friend and the best man at my wedding, Phil. You know, yeah, go check that episode out, coming out this week. And I'm trying to think anything else. I can't think of anything else. So with that being said, I'm your boy, your cousin, your nephew, your main man, your ace boom coon, Chaz, the Don. Call me Charlemagne, the Don. Here with the Red Dog. Also here with the Drip Master himself, JJ. And here with the supervillain himself, Damien.
Wow, you forgot my fucking name. You know what?
I was going to go into your whole spiel, and then I realized we're wrapping up. I don't go through the whole spiel at the end. Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
It was.
Did you call yourself a coon?
He did.
Tune in to the next episode of the 3Count Podcast Debate Show. Be there, or you just better be there.